Hello, dear students. Welcome to our education. Today we are uh, explaining class 6 history lesson 9 traders, kings, and pilgrims. Now, what do you understand by traders? Traders are businessmen, and kings, pilgrims are the people who visited holy places. This is concept map of this lesson. First is trade and traders, and the other things which we are going to read is new kingdoms that emerged during this period and edit text. How to find out about trade and traders? Okay, South India was famous for gold, spices, especially pepper, and precious stones. As you can see, South India, this whole colored portion, combinedly known as South India. Odisha does not come in this South Indian portion. Only one, two, three, four. These four states of our country, they consist and they form South India of our country. So even now a time, this area is still famous for spices. Lot of spices in India that is circulated and that comes from this area only, South India. So pepper was particularly valued in the Roman Empire so much so that it was known as black gold, right? So this is precious metals, gold jewelry also. South Indian people, they wear a lot of gold jewelry, that's why all the gold comes from South India and India. These are various types of spices and they grow in and around South India, in Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. These people, they grow lot of spices in their fields. This is black pepper, right? And it is you must have seen it in your kitchen. We sometime add it into tea, and it is a very good remedy for cold and cough as well. So this spice means this black pepper was known as black gold in Roman Empire. The people of Rome, they were so fond of this spice. Traders carried many of these goods to Rome in ships across the sea and by land in caravans. What do you mean by caravans now? When many people move together from one place to another or one country to another to trade, to do business, then that group of the lot of many peoples is known as caravan. And why do people move in caravan? Just to save themselves from the attacks of dacoits, attacks of the thieves, and attacks of lot of nonsense people on the way. So there must have been quite a lot of trade, as many Roman gold coins have been found in South India. When archaeologists, they discovered lot of gold coins, but those gold coins, they were from Roman. Means Rome is a Rome is the capital of Italy. So as far as Italy is in Europe. So in India, this is the map of India, and this is Roman Empire, this is Europe. So this is Roman Empire, and uh, the traders, they used to take this route also. So their ship, it used to land on these coastal areas of India. This was also one coast areas, means port. In earlier lesson also I've told you, port is a place where all the ships, when they come from other countries, they land. So this is also port, this is also port, and these are the ports on the west side of our country. So from here they used to take this way, thereafter they used to walk from this land area to their country, and another sea route was from here. Okay, from here. So these were two three routes from where Roman Empire or the Roman Empire traders, they used to visit India, and they used to take lot of spices from India to their country, and from their country they used to bring lot of other items which we'll read in coming slides. Next is, so these are the Roman Empire, coins which we have found in South Indian portion. So it shows, so these are the evidences, means which shows that we had trade relationship, means we had business relationship with Roman people as well at that time, many thousand years ago. Traders explored several sea route. When you have to do some work somewhere, you have to find the solution for that problem also. So similarly, when traders they came to India, they also found lot many ways to come to India. So you can see these blue dots and these red dots and these blue lines, they show the route towards Europe from India. And this is one of the route, this is one another route when one has to cross this whole African continent, and from here they have to reach Europe. But this route is very long, so they had taken some time this route, and they had taken some time this route as well. Very long time these traders they used to take to reach India. Thank God nowadays we have plane facilities, so on the same day or within 25 24 hours of time span we can reach anywhere in the world. So there were other across the Arabian Sea. This is Arabian Sea, so along the Arabian Sea, and there is also one Bay of Bengal. So the people of this side they used to do trade with this China, right? So these are some important sea routes. New kingdoms along the coast. Amongst the river valleys, that of the Kaveri is the most fertile. As you can see, this is Kaveri River. It is emerging from here, Karnataka. It is emerging from Karnataka and flowing through Tamil Nadu and falling into Bay of Bengal. So this much long river, it provided fertile land on the both side of this river. You know why riverside area is always fertile? Because river brings lot of um, sand, silt and clay from the mountainous region towards the plain area, and it always provide water to its neighboring areas, which is very good for cultivating any kind of crop. So that's why this Kaveri river area was very fertile. Fertile means lot of crop used to grow here. Chiefs and kingdoms who control the river valleys and the coast become rich and powerful, and that's why all the kings they tried to capture this area, and they tried to mix this area in their territory. New kingdoms which were there around 2300 years ago, they were the powerful three important dynasties of south: Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas, right? So this is Chola, this area is of Tamil Nadu, this is also of Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu was divided into two empire. One half of it was taken by Chola, half of it was taken by Pandya, and this side toward my left side it is Chera kingdom. So these three important kingdoms were in South India. And at what time? From 2300s year ago from present time. Each of the three chiefs had two centers of power. Now see, what do you mean by centers of power? Means their capital. Right now we are living in India, okay? So India has one center of power, means India only has one capital, that is New Delhi. Similarly, Chola kingdom had two capital cities, Pandya also had two capital cities, and Cheras also had two capital cities, total making it six capital cities, right? So one was inland and one was on the coast. Now inland means inside, and on the coast means here, somewhere over here. Coast means this area which is near or which is on the sea margin. So similarly, Pandya, this is inland capital Madurai, and there was one more capital on this coast area. Chera, it also had one capital inland and one capital on this coastal area. Why so? Because when ships and traders they used to come from other countries, Chola kingdom used to take lot of tax from those ships on the coastal area, and in inland area wherever from this area traders used to pass from one place to another, Chola kingdom it used to take again revenue or tax from those traders inside. So similarly this was done by Pandyas and Cheras as well. Of these six cities, two were very important. Which two cities were those? Puhar and Kaveri Pattanam, the port of the Cholas, and Madurai, the capital of the Pandyas. The chiefs did not collect regular taxes, instead, they demanded and received gifts from the people, right? So, in their time, means 2300 years ago, people did not used to pay tax like we do in present time. Even in Mughal period, in the coming year, means in class 7th, you will read about Mughal dynasty. So, the Mughal period, Mughal emperors, they used to take lot of 1/10 of total produce, that is 10% of the total production as a tax. But in this period, kings, they did not take any tax from the peasants or any craft person or any farmer. But what they used to take, they used to take gift from their people. And people often went to palace and they used to take lot of gifts for their uh, ruler. They also went on military expedition and collected tribute from neighboring areas. And whenever there was war and king used to move towards the war field, they also took lot of tribute. Tribute means again gift from their neighboring areas as well. Now, what they used to do with those gifts, they kept some of the wealth and distributed the rest of the wealth. Wealth means money or gift. So, some of the gift they used to keep it with them, and rest of the gift they used to distribute it amongst their supporters. Supporter means their soldiers, their military commanders, their administrative staff, chief minister, etc. And some of the gift items they used to distribute it to their family members, poets, right? Many poets whose compositions are found in the Sangam collection composed poems in praise of chiefs. In the previous lesson, also, we talked about Sangam collection. So, Sangam is the assembly of poets who used to meet in Madurai. Madurai is in Tamil Nadu. So, there they used to live for many weeks, sometimes for many months, and thereafter they used to compose many beautiful poems and stories in the praise of the chief or in the praise of the kings who was the head of their empire or of their territory. Now, what they used to get instead in return of those beautiful poets, king used to give them very expensive and beautiful gifts. Now, sometimes these gifts were precious stones, gold also, horses also, elephants sometimes, chariots and fine cloth. These poets they used to receive from the king. Around 200 years later, a dynasty known as the Satvahana became very powerful in western India. So, this is the empire of Satvahana. It is almost at the center of this South India. Neither it is completely on southern side, neither it is completely in the central India. So, it is on the combination or on the edge of half of south and half of center. So this dynasty was known as Satvahana dynasty and it was very powerful dynasty. The most important ruler of the Satvahana dynasty was Gautami Putra Sri Satkarni. We know about him from an inscription composed on behalf of his mother Gautami Balashri. Now, how do we know about Gautami Putra Satakarni? You know, Gautami was the name of his mother. So that's why his name has become Gautami Putra Satkarni. So his mother, she has written one compilation that is known as Gautami Balashri. Her mother's name was Gautami Balashri. She has written one book, and by that book only we come to know about him. He and other Satvahana rulers were known as Lord of Dakshin Patha, means they were the Lord, means they were the emperor, they were the head, they were the superior position holders of the southern India. Dakshin means south. Dakshin is south in English, literally the route leading to the south. Next, the story of the silk route. The rich, glossy color of the silk as well as its smooth texture make it highly valued fabric in most societies of that time. Now see, silk even in present time is very costly. The real silk or the original silk you will not get less than 40 to 50,000, because you know the process of silk making is very lengthy and very complicated. How silk is extracted, making silk is a complicated process. Raw silk has to be extracted from the cocoons of silkworms. See, these are the cocoons, and they weave this type of soft thread around them. Now, thereafter, uh, this thread is taken out from their body, and then this spun is this cotton, these balls are spun into thread, and those thread are used to weave silk, fine silk, fabric or cloth, whatever. Okay, and techniques of making silk were first invented in China around 7,000 years ago. So the silk is being invented in China, while the methods remained a closely guarded secret for thousands of years. Although it was discovered 7,000 years ago, but China did not give this formula of making silk to any country. So the secret of silk making was kept very secretly only in China. So there was monopoly of China, means only China in the world was a country who was doing all the business in silk fabric. So they were making a lot of silk fabrics, lot of silk cloths, and they were selling it all around the world. So the people who were fond of silk, who wanted to buy the silk, they have to buy it only from China, because no other country was able to find out or able to know how to make silk. Some people from China who went to distant land on foot, horseback, and on camels carried silk with them. The path they followed came to be known as the Silk Route. So this is what Silk Route is all about. Means the trader or the businessmen of China, when they carried lot of silk with them, and they sold in into various other countries, and the path which they followed from where they used to travel, this path was known as Silk Route. Got it? So this is China country. So from here they are coming to India as well, they are going to Persia also, and they are going to Europe also, they are going to Arabian city also, they are going to this African city of Egypt also, Somalia also, this Java, Indonesia. Java is current time Indonesia. So this many cities they used to do trade, and by doing trade and business in silk, Chinese people they had become very rich. About 2000 years ago, wearing silk became the fashion amongst ruler and rich people in Rome. Just like in current time, people wear jeans. Jeans is very common, है ना? And comfortable as well. Similarly, in earlier times, the royal people and the rich people they were fond of wearing silk, and it has become fashion statement also. It was very expensive as it had to be brought all the way from China, and coming from China is not an easy job. There are a lot of desert area, there are a lot of mountains, plateau in between, and sometimes those mountains are always covered with snow. So crossing such area, crossing such landforms was very difficult for traders. So what they used to do, they used to sell this silk at very high price, so only very rich people can afford to buy this silk from these Chinese traders. Next reason why this silk was costly, that was people who were living on the edge, or on the both side of this silk route, they used to take lot of tax from the Chinese, uh, what are they, sorry, Chinese traders. Okay, so that's why this tax also Chinese traders they used to include in the silk cloth. The some kings tried to control large portion of the route. Now see what happened. As soon as king came to know that lot of Chinese businessmen they are coming to sell their silk, what they started doing, they started capturing this silk route. Now how this is benefited for these kings, because whenever these Chinese traders will come through this route, those kings they will take tax from the Chinese traders, and this way those dynasties or those empires who had controlled this Silk Road they became very rich in return. And when they captured those territories these ways, these path, then in return those kings also they gave protection to all these traders to protect them from attacks of the robbers, attacks of the thieves. So this is Silk Road, you can see it in the larger image. This is India and this is China. So this red route is known as Silk Route. From China, they are coming to India also. From China, they are moving to this Arabian country. This is Persia and Europe, and this top portion of Africa continent also. The Kushanas. Now, who are they? The best known of the rulers who controlled the Silk Route were the Kushanas. Kushana was one of the empire of North India who had controlled this Silk Route. As you can see, this green portion where you can see this border line, this whole empire was of Kushana dynasty. So it falls under the category of Silk Route. Silk Route passes from here. So Kushana Empire they had earned a lot of money by controlling this Silk Route. This dynasty ruled over Central Asia and Northwest India. This is North India, and towards my left, this will be known as West. So, together, together it will be known as Northwest of Indian subcontinent. And they ruled around 2000 years ago. Their two major centers of power were Peshawar and Mathura. This is Peshawar, now it is in Pakistan, and other is in Mathura, it is near New Delhi. So these were the two important center for them in the Kusana dynasty. Takshila was also included in their kingdom. Here somewhere, see, this is Takshila, and Takshila was also one of the important city of Kushana dynasty. The Kushanas, what else they have done? The Kushanas were amongst the earliest ruler of the subcontinent to issue gold coins. Okay, so they have introduced gold coins in India. These were used by the traders along the Silk Route. The most famous Kushana ruler was Kanishka, who ruled around 1900 years ago. He organized a Buddhist council where scholars met and discussed important matters. Aswaghosa, a poet who composed a biography of the Buddha, the Buddha Charitra, he lived in Kushana's court. So many poets they used to work in the king's palace or king's court, and similar, and that was one important poet Aswaghosh who had written the Buddha Charitra book, and from this book we come to know about the life history of Lord Buddha. Aswaghosa and other Buddhist scholars now begin writing in Sanskrit. Before this, before Sanskrit, there were poets who used to write in Pali and other languages, but Aswaghosa he started writing in Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is a language which is understood by all of us even till date. The spread of Buddhism. How did Buddhism spread to various countries? A new form of Buddhism known as Mahayana Buddhism. You might be knowing that Buddhism religion was divided into two branches. One was Mahayana and one was Hinayana. Okay. Now, what is important about Mahayana Buddhism? This had two distinct features. Means earlier the Buddha's presence was shown in sculptures by using certain signs. For instance, his attainment of enlightenment was shown by sculptures of the people tree. Now, this was the painting where Buddhist people they used to show image of Buddha sitting under one people tree, right? Now, statues of Buddha have started making. Earlier, only the pictures of the Buddha were made, but later on they have started making the sculptures of Buddha, and many of these sculptures of Buddha they were made in Mathura. Mathura was a very great center for art and culture, and some of those Buddhist sculptures they were made in Takshila also. Now statues of the Buddha were made. Now see, this is the statue of Buddha. Instead of making pictures or the paintings, now they have started worshipping the images of Buddha. So this image making tradition was known as Mahayana religion. The second change of the Mahayana was the belief in Bodhisattva. Now who are Bodhisattva? Bodhisattva are the person who had attained enlightenment just like Gautam Buddha had done. You know, he had taken almost 12 years to get that attainment or that enlightenment. Enlightenment means knowledge. Once they attain enlightenment, They could live in complete isolation and meditate in peace. However, instead of doing that, they remained in the world to teach and help other people. So, unlike Buddha, who used to live alone, these all bodhisattvas, these are the people who are known as bodhisattvas because they also have attained, they also have obtained knowledge, but they did not live in a lonely they did not live a lonely life. Instead, they lived in society and they gave their speeches to the people. The worship of Bodhisattva became very popular and spread through Central Asia, China, and later on to Korea and Japan also. So these are the countries where Buddhism spread. And the biggest contribution for spreading of Buddhism, it goes to uh, Samrat Ashoka, because he had sent his daughter, his sons to many countries where they taught various teachings of Buddha, and the people of these countries, they also started following Buddhism religion. So which are the countries? China, Tibet, Burma, Java, Ceylon means some Sri Lanka, Korea, Japan. The Buddhism also spread to western and southern India, where dozens of caves were hollowed out of hills for monks to live in. You must have heard about Ajanta caves and Ellora caves. So these caves, there were lot of pictures and images of Lord Buddha inside these caves. So whosoever traveled from this route, so this was like a resting place or the meditation place for all those traders as well as pilgrims. Pilgrims means the people who visit holy places. Like nowadays, when we will be visiting Badrinath, Kedarnath, Kanyakumari, then we will be also called pilgrims. So these were the caves for Buddhist monks, farmers, merchants, kings, and queens. These were often located near passes through the Western Ghats. Western Ghats road connecting prosperous port of the coast with cities in the Deccan ran through these passes. So these were the passes. Passes means when you cross from one place to another. So these are the crossing areas. Traders probably halted in these cave monasteries during their travels. Halted means they had taken rest inside these caves because traveling was such a long process which took them many days, many months. So in between there were lot of things, lot of buildings which had been built by kings and queens, so that people who are traveling, they can take rest. Next is the quest of the pilgrims. As traders journey to distant lands in caravans and ships, pilgrims often traveled with them. The best known of these are the Chinese Buddhist pilgrims Fayan, who came to Indian subcontinent about 1600 years ago. Thereafter, Zhuan Zhang and I Qing. They also came to visit places associated with the life of Buddha as well as famous monasteries. Just like Hindu people, we have temples, and Muslim people, they have mosques. Buddhist people, they have monasteries. So these worship places of Buddhists, they are known as monasteries, and the people or the pilgrim from other countries, they came to visit only all those places which were associated with Lord Buddha. Each of these pilgrims left an account of his journey. Means when they came to India, they did not just they did not just live only for 1 week or 2 week, 1 month or 2 months. Instead, they live in India for many years. Sometimes they lived for 12 years, many other they lived for 14 years. So if somebody is living for such a long period in some country, they can know lot of things about that country. They can even learn many languages of that country. So similarly, when the Chinese pilgrim, they came to India, and when they returned back to their country, they had written lot of books over there about our country. So those books are also giving us lot of evidences, lot of knowledge about our history. Zhuan Zhang, let us talk about him, who took the land route back to China. When he was going back to China, he took the land route through the northwest and central Asia. He carried back with him statue of the Buddha which was made of gold. He also lived for many years in India, and when he returned he took one statue of Lord Buddha which was a golden statue, and he took some silver also, sandalwood also. You know, sandalwood, it is used to make agarbatti, and it is very it's a tree whose wood gives lot of fragrance. So sandalwood, silver, and statue of Buddha he took with him. And apart from that, he also took 600 manuscripts loaded on the back of 20 horses. It means when he went back, he had taken 20 horses from India. And why he used those horses? Because he had to carry his 600 manuscript on their back. What are manuscript? Manuscript are those books which are written by hand. Nowadays, most of the time we print our books. Whatever books you read in your school, those are printed books, those are not handwritten books. But what you write in notebook, that will be your manuscript document. But in earlier time there were no printing press, so when he was in India, while he was in India, he had written 600 books. And what happened during his journey back to China, 50 manuscripts they were lost. And he spent the rest of his life translating the remaining manuscript from Sanskrit into Chinese. See, he had written all these 600 manuscript in Sanskrit. It means when he had come to India, he also learned Sanskrit language over here. But he, when he went back to his country, Sanskrit language was not understood by his fellow countrymen. So he translated them in his native language, that was Chinese. Next, Nalanda, a unique center of Buddhist learning. You know, when we talk about Hindu religion, the most important place which come to our mind are Mathura, Vrindavan, Haridwar, Rishikesh, Puri, right? So these are the places which comes to our mind. But when we talk about Buddhism religion, then the important places are Nalanda, Takshila, Sarnath, Bodh Gaya, and Lumbini. So these are the important places which are associated with Lord Buddha. Juan Zhang and other pilgrims spent time studying in Nalanda. Nalanda was the biggest university of that time. The way we have Delhi University right now, Mumbai University, Madras University in present time. Similarly, Nalanda University was the largest and the biggest and the most famous university of that time. So Zhuanzhang and other pilgrims, they also spent lot of their time studying about the Buddhist religion in these universities. And Nalanda, this is a place which is located in Bihar. And see how Zhuanzhang he has described Nalanda. He had written, the teachers are men of highest ability and talent, just like we have in present time also. The faculty means the person who teaches the student. They were very able, they were very qualified. They follow the teachings of Buddha in all sincerity. The rules of the monasteries were very strict and everyone has to follow them. Right now we also follow discipline in the school. Similarly, this Nalanda University, all the monks, they used to live in a strict disciplined environment. Discussions were held throughout the day, and the old and the young mutually help one another. Means group discussions and healthy discussions they used to conduct quite often. Learned men from different cities come here to settle their doubts. If something, or if sometime I have a doubt, where do I go to sort out my doubt? I go to some person who can give me some good suggestion. But sometime what happens, even that person is unable to give the answer to my query. But in that time, all the answers they were available with all these teachers who were teaching in Nalanda University. So all around the country, if any person is having any doubt, they can come to this university and they can get solution to their problem or their doubts. The gatekeeper asks new entrants difficult questions. Now see how they are allowed to enter only after they have been able to answer these. 7 or 8 out of every 10 are not able to answer. See, nowadays what happens, if we want to take admission in some school or college, first we have to pass the admission test, right? Similarly, there was a procedure to take admission in Nalanda University as well. There was one gatekeeper. Nowadays we have set question paper, but that time there were no question paper set. Only the gatekeeper was so talented, even the gatekeeper was so talented that he used to ask very difficult question to all the entrance students, means all the new students who used to come to take admission. They were asked 8 to 10 questions from by gatekeeper. And out of 10 students, 8 students, they were not able to answer the questions of gatekeeper. It means only 2 students could pass his test, and rest of the 8 students, they were sent back to their places. The beginning of bhakti. Now let us talk about Hindu religion. This was also the time when the worship of certain deities means gods or goddesses, gained importance. In the Vedic period, only few of the gods were popular, but now, like Shiva, Vishnu, and goddess such as Durga, they became very popular, and people started worshipping them. Now, what is bhakti? Bhakti is a person's devotion to his or her chosen deity. When we follow one particular god or goddess, suppose I say, I am the follower of, or I am the devotee of Lord Shiva, I am the devotee of goddess Durga, I am the devotee of Lord Shani, I am the devotee of Lord uh, Hanuman. So, to particular god or to particular goddess, when we show our faith in that particular god or goddess, then that is our bhakti towards that particular deity. Anybody, rich or poor, belonging to any caste, high or low, any gender, men or women, could follow the path of bhakti. Means bhakti was not meant to be followed by only one person. If you are rich, then also you can have bhakti. If you are poor, if you are man, if you are women, if you are from higher caste or if you are from lower caste, everybody can follow the path of bhakti. The idea of bhakti is present in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is describing that how you can follow the path of bhakti. Bhagavad Gita is a sacred book of the Hindus, which is included in the Mahabharata. If a devotee worships the chosen deity with a pure heart, the deity will appear in the form in which he or she may desire. Like if I am uh, worshipping a stone, then stone will become god after my long meditation, after my long faith in that stone. So this was what the belief of Hindu people, that if you'll worship god in any form, the god will appear and give you a glimpse of him. So the deity could be thought of as a human being. We can worship deities as animals like lion or snake also, and we can worship our deities in the form of trees also. Once this idea gained acceptance, artists made beautiful images of these deities. Now, as you can see, this is one of the famous Nandi ox of Lord Shiva. And similarly, there are trees like people also, which is also worshipped by Hindus. And Lord Hanumana, which is also the form of a monkey, is also considered as deity, and he is also worshipped in the form of this shape. And Lord Ganesha, who has taken the shape of the head of elephant. And this is one stone structure which is the symbol of Lord Shiva. And people tree, we worship trees and plants as well, assuming that there is life and there is presence of deities in it. Lord Krishna and all the cows are sacred for Hindus. Bhakti inspired some of best expression in art, sculpture, poetry and architecture. So this is architecture. Architecture means constructions of building. So beautiful buildings are being constructed devoted to the bhakti. Thereafter poetry also, many poets they have written beautiful poems which are based on all our deities or gods. And these are sculptures again. Hindu. The word Hindu, like the term India, is derived from the river Indus. Indus river is known as Sindhu river in Hindi, but the people who came from other countries they were not able to pronounce it Sindhu, so they gave this Sindhu river the name Indus. So Indus river is the responsible for making and giving us the country name India. Similarly, Hindu word is also derived from India or Indus, and this way Hindu word was emerged. It was used by Arabs and Iranians to refer the people who lived in the east of the river. East of the river means on the other side of river Indus, because if we'll cross the Indus river then there comes a new religion and some other world starts. So for us, this side toward the eastern side of river Indus, the people who live will be known as Hindu. And we have a different set of practices, we have different religious belief. And bhakti word, it has come from the Sanskrit term bhaj. Bhaj means to take somebody's name repeatedly. This suggests an intimate two-way relationship between the deity and the devotee. Now deity is God and devotees are we who follow God or goddesses. Bhakti is directed towards Bhagvat, which is often translated as God. Now, Bhagvat is God, but also means one who possesses and share bhagya. Bhagya means fortune, good fortune, your luck. The devotee known as the Bhakta, and we will be known as Bhakt or the Bhagavata, shares his or her chosen deity's bhag. Vishnu as Varaha, an image from Iran, Madhya Pradesh. This is one place. Here, Lord Vishnu has taken this shape of Varaha, and this magnificent statue is of a special form of Vishnu, the Vara or boar. Boar, it's an animal. So, sometime as in Hindu religion, we feel that in all the stones and all the things of nature, God is present. According to the Puranas, Vishnu took the shape of boar in order to rescue the earth, which had sunk into water. Here, the earth is shown as women. So he is protecting goddess earth from sinking inside the ocean. This lesson is finished now. These are some important questions. You can pause the video, and if you find it difficult to find the answer of this question, you can watch the video again. These are important and easy questions if you have watched the video very patiently. So thank you so much for today, and please do like channel Wow Education. Thank you so much.